Do I lean in?
No.
Are these what you do for the outtakes?
This is like the front end part of it, yeah. Hi guys, welcome to another edition of NVLIFE at Home. Here's a follow-up to our conversation that we started on volunteering. I'm here with Betsy. And what is your official title, Betsy?
I'm families director.
Okay, perfect.
Children's.
Families, youth, just kind of encompassing anything
family
0 to
oriented.
18, family oriented. Okay.
If you're a kid, if you're a baby, if you're a parent,
Perfect.
I'm here.
Well, today we're going to talk with Betsy, and we're also going to talk with Journey about the needs for student and family ministry. We're also going to talk about kind of their vision for the ministries when we get back into things, which we will get back into things. And lastly, kind of what their needs are and what the biggest misunderstanding about serving in these ministries would be. So, Betsy, let's just start off with an easy one. Let's kind of talk about when we get back to doing things again, what is your vision and ministry for family ministry, for children's ministry?
When we see kids and families back, I want our kids and our families, first of all, to feel safe, to feel welcomed back, and ultimately to feel and have fun. I want our kids to feel connected to the body of Christ, to have that community. I know we have been feeling kind of apart from community, isolated in some ways, with all our efforts to be connected online, even with the school's efforts to keep our kids connected through Zoom, through, online schooling and all of that, our kids still feel isolated or worn out with all of that. And so I'm anxious to see our kids back and to feel that sense of in-person community.
And I think that's key to in-person community, the level of disconnection, and I think a great way to put it too is the overall fatigue of being in the current situation that we're in. When we were joking about people being done with Zoom.
Yeah.
I mean, we're desperate for face-to-face contact. That's why even the drive-in prayer night that we had the other night and the one coming up, I believe, depending on when you guys see this, but those are all great touches that people get to actually see each other again.
Even that face-to-face from afar.
From a car window to a car window is still great.
Just that idea of in-person community, I think, kind of rejuvenates us, and to have those kids kind of see each other, that smile on their face, I think, and to see their leaders and to see that sense of familiarity will be good for everyone. So I hope to see us back.
Perfect. Good.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say is one of the biggest misunderstandings or some misunderstandings people have about serving within your ministry? And I know that there are a few.
Serving with kids. I feel like being a children's director in charge of children's, you walk around church and people kind of see me come in and they dodge me. Don't make eye contact with her. She might ask you to help. So it's kind of hard to make friends around here. Just kidding. I have lots of friends. But children's ministry, I think, is kind of the hardest place to invite people to ministry. I think it's one because people often feel like, one, they have to love children. Right. 2, they have to know all the answers. 3, they often feel like they have to prepare or write all the curriculum, right? They have to be teachers. Right. And they feel like, I don't think I can do kids because I can't get up and teach. Right. And so they automatically think that's not for me. And so I think people feel like if they're not a teacher, if they can't get up in front of kids, they automatically think children's ministry is not for them. Right. And so a lot of people avoid it at all cost, because kids are wild and crazy and they're a lot of fun. But it's hard to recruit. I think it's one of the hardest ministries to recruit for.
And that makes sense too, because you have people who think that they're in the room by themselves, that they're
Right.
unsupported within this. Like you said,
Yeah.
a great point, that they have to create the curriculum, teach the curriculum, maintain control of the room,
Yeah.
all these different things. And that's simply not the case.
Yeah.
In fact, you use a partner system where you use multiple adults or leaders within a room,
Yeah.
correct? We do a lot of background checking, and that's simply because it's just for the safety and reassurance of parents, but that's not a major thing to overcome either.
Right.
It's actually a simple process, and since I've moved here to Napa, and I'm sure you remember too, I think I've been fingerprinted 7 or 8 different times for the different various agencies that I
Yeah.
volunteer with. So there are a lot of those types of hiccups that people get to. What would you say then is probably your greatest need?
Oh, I think our greatest need for children's would actually be, Sunday morning volunteers, would be classroom help. We have large group time, which is really fun. We have specific teachers that do feel that is their strength, where they get to deliver the large group message. And then when we break up into small groups, we have usually 2 teachers that float around, and they like to deliver some of that part of that message. So our goal is to usually have 2 teachers, and that's where we have like a lead teacher who feels like that's really is their strength. And then what we really need is those support teachers, those teachers that just would like to hang out with a kid, sit next to a kid and help them fill out their activity sheet or just hear about their week. And those support teachers often are the ones who say, hey, how can I pray for you this week? Or, how's your mom and dad? Or, and those are really, those are the really fun parts of ministry, is when you get to check in with students. And we also really need people, at the front desk when families are checking in. That's another really key point of ministry, is that check-in when you're greeting families and saying hi to those parents. That is their first point of interaction. You might not want to hang out with kids the whole service, but you might be able to give that first 15-minute block of service and come in early and be at the check-in table and say, good morning, how are you? We're so glad you're here. And especially coming back when we have, when check-in's going to look a little different
Right.
for families, that's going to be a really key point. And so, that could be a new area of ministry for you if you're interested, and that would be a really neat opportunity for nursery or, elementary. And that's just getting to say hi to families. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? Saying good morning.
Yeah. Well, it can be intimidating, but I think you're right. If you break it down and people understand there are lots of different aspects of serving within children's ministries. So Betsy, kind of give us a little bit of a rundown of the different age groups that you have within children's ministries.
So we start with infants, like nursery. We have 0 to 3 and about 3 years old. They move up to preschool. So we have preschool, which is 3, 4, and 5. And then about 5, when they enter kindergarten, they move up to elementary. So we have kindergarten through 5th grade. That's usually about where they come to my group. So they're in the gym. And then after that, they move up to middle school into youth ministry.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
And you don't have kindergarten through 5th grade all within one classroom setting when you break out?
They're not all into one classroom. They start out in a large group all together, and then they break into smaller groups. So, yeah. So they get their own little classrooms together into their age groups, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
Yeah.
giving us a little bit more of an insight into what it looks like volunteering with children's ministry.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We're going to give you guys more direct information. We're going to look at the website and show you guys how you can get involved and if you want to serve with kids ministry or family ministries, to contact Betsy.
It's not that scary, I promise.
All right, guys. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.